Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Tuesday, April the 30th. We got a big Tuesday slate, a full 15-gamer. There's a lot of good pitching options on this slate. Pitching is definitely going to be something that I do want to talk about quite a bit. There's 4 guys on DraftKings over 10K. You got some guys like just under 10K and Walker Buehler, Marquez, Greinke, Hamels. A lot of good stud pitchers. The value, though, is pretty thin in my opinion. There's not a ton of cheap pitchers that I love. Like if you're looking like 7K and below, like not a ton of guys really stand out to me as great value pitchers. But we will work our way through the player pool, through the pitcher player pool, talk about some of the guys I'll be looking at. We'll go over some hitters I'll be targeting, and then we will talk about some stacks I like and BVP plays at the end of the video for those of you that are interested in BVP. Just before we do get started, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. But starting off at pitcher today, Trevor Bauer is the most expensive option on both sites. He's $10,900 on DraftKings, and on Yahoo he's $61. So I do like Bauer quite a bit here against the Marlins. It's just such a good matchup for him. Even though he's the most expensive pitcher on the slate, at least on DraftKings, I will be paying up for him quite a bit. He's very hard to fit in on Yahoo. If you go with Trevor Bauer on Yahoo, that really thins out who you can get to for bats. Like, you're going to have to really go cheap with your hitters. And Yahoo's done a pretty good job this year about pricing up some of their hitters. So I think playing Bauer on Yahoo is a bit tough. Like, you have Walker Buehler in a great matchup with the Giants for $15 less. He's a guy that I really like on Yahoo since he's so much cheaper than Bauer. On DraftKings, though, where they're only $1,000 difference, I think Bauer's the better play for just $1,000 more. Like I said, great matchup with the Marlins, a ton of strikeouts here. Bauer should absolutely be able to mow down this Marlins lineup. Just a 3 implied run total for them. Pretty sure that's lowest on the slate. A ton of Ks, like I said. Great spot. Love Trevor Bauer. On Yahoo, though, looking at Walker Buehler, I do like Walker Buehler quite a bit over there. And I think on DraftKings you can play him as well at $9,900. He also has a really good matchup. 3.1 implied run total for the Giants. A ton of strikeouts in this lineup as well. Great spot for Buehler, and since he hasn't been like incredible this year, like he hasn't really been able to mow down a ton of teams, I feel like his ownership's probably going to be a bit lower than it should. I feel like people might just try and get up to Bauer or get up to a guy like Blake Snell. Walker Buehler on DraftKings, since he's $9,900, he's probably going to go overlooked on this slate. So I think as a tournament play, I really like him. On Yahoo, he's probably one of my favorite pitchers when you factor in what his price is compared to some of the other guys. But since we did go to the top for Trevor Bauer, we are going to need to go for a cheaper SP2 on DraftKings at least. There's a guy I like in this mid-range. He might be a bit risky, but I think he's a pretty good play. CC Sabathia at $7,100. I like to pair with Trevor Bauer. If you pair Bauer and Sabathia together, that still leaves you 4K remaining per player, which I think on this slate you can work around. Sabathia's in a matchup with the Diamondbacks that I think is pretty good. This Diamondbacks team has been really good this year. Offensively, they've actually been pretty good. They've been exceeding expectations. But I think this is still a team that can be mowed down, does have strikeouts in their lineup as well, especially when you get to the bottom. There's a couple lefties in this lineup as well, Dyson and Peralta, both left-handed, so Sabathia will have the advantage there. The right-handed hitters, aside from like Escobar and maybe Christian Walker, I'm not really worried about Adam Jones or Ketel Marte, even though Marte's been really good this year, especially batting right-handed. Nick Ahmed's not a guy I'm worried about. Carson Kelly, I'm not worried about. And then the Greinke you have down there at the bottom. I think Sabathia can have some success here. With a 4.6 implied run total for the D-backs, people are probably not going to play Sabathia. I imagine he comes in somewhat low-owned today. So I do like him quite a bit. And he's been pretty good this year. He hasn't been able to get a ton of strikeouts just through 3 games against the White Sox, Royals, and Angels. He's got 3, 5, and 3 strikeouts. So Sabathia's never been like a crazy high K pitcher. Like, he's not going to go out there and get 12, 14 strikeouts. But against this Diamondbacks team, I could see him going 6 innings with 5 Ks, maybe 1 or 2 runs, getting a win, and getting like 22 DraftKings points. And I think at $7,100, especially since a lot of the value pitchers are pretty risky in my opinion today, if you get 20 DK points out of Sabathia here, that could definitely be good enough. So I do like him quite a bit to pair with Trevor Bauer. But now going over to Yahoo, since we saved a little bit at SP1 with Buehler, we didn't pay all the way up for Bauer. We don't need to go too cheap at SP2. I think Vince Velasquez makes a really good pairing with Walker Buehler. He's $40 over here. He has a really good matchup with the Tigers. This is a Tigers team that just got absolutely mowed down by Ronaldo Lopez on Sunday. I think Lopez had like 13 strikeouts against the Tigers. It makes sense because this Tigers team does have a ton of strikeouts in its lineup, especially when you look at the bottom. There's a ton of right-handed hitters in this lineup as well, which favors Velasquez. He gets plenty of strikeouts versus righties. The only lefties that are expected to be in the lineup are Candelario and Goodrum, and those two guys this year at least have not been that great offensively and from the hitting side. So love this spot for Velasquez. I think he's a great play on Yahoo at $40. I think on DraftKings, even at 8,700, he makes for a really good. Like if you want to go Buehler and Velasquez on DraftKings, I think you can definitely do that. If you want to go Velasquez and Sabathia, fade the top pitchers and really load up on bats as like a contrarian approach, I think that makes a ton of sense as well. I do like Velasquez quite a bit on both sides today. But now let's talk about some hitters. So at first base, I want to hit on a guy that I really like today, and a team that I really like, the Pirates. Josh Bell, 4,800 on DraftKings, and over here on Yahoo, he's at $20. Love this spot for Bell, and I love the Pirates as a stack today. They're probably one of my favorite stacks on the slate, especially when you factor in their salaries compared to other teams and their implied run total as well. A 5.2 implied run total for the Pirates here, facing Adrian Sampson in Globe Life Park, a great hitter's park. Nobody in this Pirates lineup is over 5K. The most expensive hitter is Bell at 4,800. Then you got guys like Frazier at 4,200, Cabrera at 41, Gregor Polanco at 45, Moran at 4,100, Francisco Cervelli at 3,300, Jung Ho Kong at 3,800. A lot of value in this Pirates lineup. They're facing a very bad pitcher that gives up a lot of home runs, is not good at all, doesn't really get strikeouts. Love the Pirates here. Love Josh Bell at first base. He's probably one of my favorite plays overall today. And if I have to take like a home run pick, I think Bell hits a home run off of Sampson, if not two. Just such a good spot for him. On Yahoo, I do like stacking up the Pirates. Going over to the outfield, I think Gregory Polanco at $16 makes for a really good pairing. If you want to do like the four-man stack with Frazier, Cabrera, Polanco, and Bell on Yahoo, I love doing that. I know Frazier's pretty cheap, and I think Cabrera's pretty cheap as well. That stack makes a ton of sense. If you want to include Moran in there, or Cervelli, or Kong, you could do that as well. Really like the Pirates, really like Polanco, really like Bell. I think both of those guys are pretty good plays today. Going over back to DraftKings, looking at a team that I think is going to actually be like a really low-owned stack. I think the Reds are going to go overlooked by a lot of people. They only have a 3.9 implied run total, but they're facing one of the worst pitchers on the slate, in my opinion, in Jason Vargas. And these Reds prices are really intriguing. Eugenio Suarez is only 4,100 on DraftKings. If I have to pick like a cheap guy to hit a home run that's like 4K-ish and below, it would definitely be Suarez at 4,100 versus Vargas. Suarez is a guy that has mashed left-handed pitching throughout his career, and now he's facing, in my opinion, one of the worst left-handed pitchers in baseball in Vargas. I wish this game was being played in Cincinnati in Great American Ballpark. I feel like if this game was being played in Cincinnati, then the Reds would probably have like a 5 implied run total. But since it's being played in the Met Stadium in that good pitcher's park, only a 3.9 implied run total for the Reds. So these guys are probably not going to carry much ownership today. I love Suarez at 4,100. I think he's a great cheap third base option. I think Yasiel Puig in the outfield as a value play on DraftKings makes a ton of sense. He's 3,800. Really like him on DK. I like stacking the Reds, specifically their righties, but I think you can play Votto as well. But like Votto, Suarez, Puig, Casali, I think those guys make for great plays today. I would probably be avoiding, or I probably will be avoiding the bottom of the Reds lineup. Like I doubt I'll be playing Jose Iglesias, but the 1 through 5, maybe skip Winker, the 1, 2, 4, 5 from the Reds. I really like here versus Vargas. And since the Reds have a low total and Vargas is so cheap, I feel like people are actually going to play him today. So you're probably going to get some good leverage on the field, especially if Vargas is owned by stacking the Reds. But now filling out my 5 plays on Yahoo, talking about a guy that I really like over here. He's actually on the other side of that Pittsburgh game from the Texas side. Rougned Odor, only $8 on Yahoo. He's close to minimum salary. I think he's one of the better cheap second basemen and probably one of the better value plays overall on Yahoo. If we're going to pull up Yahoo pricing real quick, look to that game. So looking at Odor, he's projected back second for a Rangers team with a 5.4 implied run total and great hitting conditions, a great hitter's park. Odor just too cheap here. Looking at some of the pricings for this game overall, like Moran at $11 on the Pirate side, Cervelli minimum salary, Frazier 14, Cabrera 12. These guys are really good plays on Yahoo. Back to the Rangers side, Chu at 19 I think is a good play. Mazar at 16. Gallo at 23 is a guy you could definitely pay up for. Like, there's just a lot of good plays from this game in general on both sides. I think doing a game stack here makes a ton of sense. I love Odor on Yahoo, where he's almost minimum salary. I think he's probably one of the best value plays over there. So these are my 5 plays for Yahoo, 5 plays for DraftKings. Now, let's quickly talk about some stacks I like, then we'll go over BVP before we end the video. So my favorite stack is definitely the Pirates. I love the Pirates here versus Adrian Sampson. I will be loading up on Pirates bats. I really like the Reds today as a low-owned stack. Don't think I'll be full stacking them, but the 1 through 4, 1 through 5, I really like versus Vargas. Especially if Vargas is going to get a lot of ownership here, which I think he will because of how cheap he is and how the Reds have a low total. I really like going to these Reds bats. Looking to some other teams we could target. Definitely don't want to overlook this Baltimore White Sox game if it plays. Expect to have a lot of rain, but some bats versus Von Nova I think make a lot of sense. Looking to some of these Orioles, I think is a way you can go. They also have a low total, 3.9 implied run total, and Nova is very cheap, so I feel like Nova's actually going to be a guy that people look to roster. But Nova's just not a good pitcher, doesn't get strikeouts, lets guys put the ball in play. I think the last time he pitched against the Orioles, he got absolutely rocked, so going to some Orioles bats makes sense. I think on the other side against Andrew Cashner, you can obviously stack up the White Sox as well versus Cashner. I do like looking to some of those bats. But that's probably it for stacks. Those are the teams I'll really be looking to stack up today. Now let's talk about BVP before we end the video. So there are a lot of BVP plays today. I'm just going to cover the ones that really stand out to me. So at the top, Tyson Ross really struggled to Segura and Harper. Gene Segura gone 6 for 14 with 2 home runs off of Ross, and Bryce Harper 4 for 13 with a home run off of Tyson Ross. Matt Wieters 6 for 15, 2 home runs off Anibal Sanchez. Daniel Murphy 8 for 22, 2 home runs off of Chacin. Carlos Correa, great BVP versus Michael Pineda. Correa gone 9 for 16 with 3 home runs. George Springer hit him well, 7 for 15, 2 home runs. So both Springer and Correa have pretty good BVP versus Michael Pineda. Elvis Andrus 6 for 16 off Jordan Lyles. Chris Davis, I think, is actually a pretty good play today. He's got pretty good BVP versus Nova, 12 for 38 with 5 home runs. Adam Jones, pretty good BVP versus Sabathia, 26 for 90, 5 home runs. Then getting down here towards the end, Mike Trout, 8 for 19, 2 home runs off of Buckholz. Albert Pujols, 7 for 21, 2 home runs off of Buckholz. So those are just some BVP plays. I didn't cover all of them, but if you do want to look at all of them, you can pause the video. Just take a quick look at some of the other BVP plays we have today. But I think that's it for the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and hopefully it did help you. If you did enjoy, I would appreciate it if you would click that like button before you get out of here. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave any questions down below in the comment section, or you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. Feel free to message me on Twitter as well. Always active over there. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Good luck tonight on this slate. Peace.